All right, why don't we get started? Since it is 5 after. Thank you all for joining. This is the Trusted Referral Network. We're a network of independent marketing services providers around the country. They get together twice a month on the second and fourth Tuesdays. On the fourth Tuesday today, it's at 5 p.m. Eastern. And on the second Tuesday, it's at 11 a.m. Eastern. And the whole objective of the group is to meet other marketers who provide perhaps complementary services, to look for opportunities where you can collaborate, share ideas, subcontract, refer business, and learn from one another. So we have today, let's see, about 3 guests and 7 members. There are a total of about 20 members, and we are always looking for new people to join. There's a 3-month trial, and the fee is $360 a year. So it's not a big expense and well worth it. We definitely get referrals and business from each other. We learn from each other, and we usually try to have a showcase presenter at each of the meetings, take 15 minutes and do a deeper dive into what they do. So we can learn a little bit more about what that member is spending their time doing, and perhaps glean some new knowledge from them. And today, Keith Reynolds, who is going to be a returning member, is going to present on content strategy, which is his area of expertise. And then we'll go around the room. I know a few people have to leave a little early, so I'll start with John and Rajiv after that. Probably get about 3 minutes each to do a quick introduction. But the key really is to see who you want to follow up with, because the 2 minutes is not going to do justice to getting to know people. So I'm going to hand the baton over to Keith. I'll give him 15 minutes, put my timer on if I could find my apps. Let's see. Search for apps. There's my timer. And Keith, feel free to take it away.
Awesome. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good.
You're a little glitchy. Your audio is a little glitchy. Good.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Some new faces here. Yeah, I've been off for, I guess, about a year. And in that year, I learned that in my consulting, I developed a methodology, and I realized there's no dopamine in a methodology. And people don't want to be told how you're going to get them there, and that you have a track record of getting them there. I've learned in putting a book out and in public speak around that, they want immediate results. This year is kind of,
Keith, you may want to drop your video because your audio is choppy.
hold on. All right, we'll go with so taking what I've been doing and turning it into a studio where we take the value of what I learned in doing interviews over the last 3 years and turning it into content for you, not telling you how I'm going to get you there. And so the driver, most of you, the choir here, you know, is that huge changes in Google, and
Still very choppy, Keith. You want to try calling in from a phone?
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna.
You want to do some introductions?
Yeah. Why don't we do some introductions? When you come back in, don't drop your video. Just dial in, and and just silence your audio and then switch that way. I think that'll be the best way. So we'll do a couple introductions while Keith gets his audio working again. John Parsons, you said
Michael,
you had to
can he
leave
still
already.
share a screen if he's dialing in on with a phone?
That's why he needs to, I think, keep
Yes.
his the PC working as well, but just dial in as another guest. Good point.
Right. Cool.
John, do you want to
Yeah,
take
sure,
3
sure.
minutes?
Yeah, sorry for the Zoom and run. I have to take on another meeting. We're a video production studio on a smaller scale, perhaps, and a more affordable cost. But we do all manner of video for marketing entities, either directly for the customer, and we really like working through fractional CMOs and small agencies that don't have all of the pieces to producing content. We're the video piece for other studios as well. We do a lot of our recording of individuals. If the footage requires a spokesman or an advocate, we record that footage remotely. We use a platform that lets us record multiple takes to a phone or a smartphone or a tablet, and then we take the best takes from that recording session and stitch them together into the video. We kind of have what I think is the right approach to video, which is we don't explain everything about the product or the service. We get the customer or our client to ask the questions. We find ways to ask the questions creatively that the customer would want to ask, and come up with creative ways of putting that question in their minds, so that they can that they would say, yeah, I've asked that question myself. Maybe I should talk to so and so about doing this for me. We do a variety of other services. We also have we do writing that parallels the video creation. We have I've been a ghostwriter and a nonfiction writer for decades, and my team is pretty good also at doing short form. So that's pretty much it. We do content for marketing, mostly video.
Very cool. And one of your specialties, I think, is book trailers, right?
Because I come from the publishing universe, I know a lot of publishers, a lot of hybrids, a lot of people in the industry, and authors in particular are usually deficient in the platform that they have to promote their book. So we create book trailers. Trailers is a terrible word, by the way, because it doesn't come after the book. It comes before, but that's an old legacy from 1930s, 40s Hollywood. But whatever it is, it's a 90-second, usually a minute to a 90-second video with a 30-second cut that they can use on social. And we have a bundle price for that that's actually quite affordable.
Very cool. And that's, I think, actually dovetails well with Keith's B2B content strategy. But I want to squeeze in Rajiv before we go back to Keith. Thank you very much, John. Rajiv, do you want to take it over?
Sure. Yeah, thank you, Michael. Nice to see you all. As you can tell from my Zoom background, I'm the assassin. So people ask me, you're the assassin. Do you kill people? And I say, no, I don't kill people, but I do kill your problems. And I make them go bye-bye. And they say, problems? What kind of problems? I say, problems that steal your peace of mind. Problems like scandal. Problems like people, running your good name through the mud. Problems like people alleging any and all wrongdoing against you personally, your company, or somebody in your company. And the consequence of that is people look at this and without knowing who you are, what you stand for, what your company stands for, automatically think the worst of you. And as a consequence of that, choose not to work with you, not to associate with you. And worst of all, will even evangelize that fact to others, which can be completely devastating to your business that you worked so tirelessly, worked your blood, sweat, and tears to build. It can all come crumbling down in an instant. Now, there's a solution to that, and that solution is to hire the assassin. You need an assassin sometimes to take care of things that need handling, okay? And the assassin is going to get it done. It's going to get it done right. And it's going to get rid of all that garbage that is out there that is spewing lies about you. And that's basically what we do. We get
You want to
rid
give an example? I know you used to have you used to talk a bit about your the woman who had was interviewing for a job or something, and she was
Right. So basically, there was an executive in transition that was looking for her next big job. It was a high 6 or 7 figure offer. And she was about to walk into the meeting to accept this offer and get ready for her corner office with a view of the Empire State Building and all that. And she heard the words that nobody wants to hear, which is they've gone in a different direction. And the moment she heard that, she balked and she was like, what? Like, how could this happen? This was a done deal. And the executive recruiter said, well, they Googled you and they think you're a criminal. She was like, criminal? Me? I went to Yale, goddammit. What are you talking about? And they said, Google yourself. She Googled herself, and lo and behold, she saw her doppelganger that was also blonde, looked like her, same first name, different last name, who has a criminal background. And the recruiters and the company didn't want to take a chance and said, screw this. I'm not taking a chance. I'm not messing with this. And they decided to go a different direction. And of course, the recruiter said, contact R Square Media. They'll handle this for you. And we did. And we got rid of it. And we did it so fast that they were able to reverse the company's decision and she was hired. So that was a case where we were able to resurrect and salvage this person's situation by quick, decisive action. So my parting message to you all is please Google yourself, because it's not vanity, it's clarity. That's actually a talk that I gave at Columbia University a while ago. Google yourself and see what's out there, because everybody else is doing that as well. So you might as well know what's out there. But thank you for that, Michael. I'll hand it back to you.
All right, Keith, you want to try the voice on the phone and see how that works? You should be able to share again. I did stop the sharing. You take yourself off mute. Your phone. Wait a minute. So your video's on mute. Hold on. Oh, let me see. Are you still in the waiting room or something? Maybe.
Can you hear me now? I just got a message saying I'm not on mute.
Wait, the waiting. Hold on. Are you in the waiting room? Participants.
No, I don't see Keith.
There should be two of you, right? You were going to dial in.
No.
There should be two Keiths, or there should be.
I'm hearing. Can you hear me at all?
Yeah, we can hear you, but it's a bit choppy, and I think it's only the video feed. I don't see another feed coming in from the audio or from your phone. Can you try dialing in using the dial-in that came in the? But you don't show up as a participant.
I have. Oh, wait a minute. Let's try.
Yeah, try. John, thanks for joining us. Try dialing in using the number in the invite from your cell phone, and we'll use that as the audio. And in the meantime,
all right. Just tell me, because this is not on the computer audio. This is only on the phone audio. Is it really bad?
No, now it's better. It's better. Okay, you want to try again? You want to try sharing your screen again?
Sure.
All right, cool.
I'm disabled.
You disabled. Okay, sorry. I don't want to share the screen. Hold on. Multiple one person can share advanced sharing options. All participants. Okay, try it again. Can you do it now? All right. Looks like you're getting there. All right, I'll start you at I'll start you at 13. Go to your presentation.
All right. Well, can you see my screen now?
See your screen, but not your presentation. There you go. See your presentation.
All right.
Go for it.
All right. So I'm going to breeze past this. The bottom line is that Google is throttling traffic. And now we even know more about it after today's announcement of the release of their protocols, and not only to websites, but also to email. And the major email service providers are throttling back if you're not adhering to privacy and security protocols. And so the bottom line is you have to have an opt-in audience going forward. And that means you have to have a content strategy. And I'd love to hear what you all think are the top reasons. These are the ones in my speaking over the last couple months are the reasons that people tell me they don't have a content strategy, even though they're producing content. I can't see you, but if you want to yell something out as what you think is the most prevalent or something that's not on the list.
No, we see it. Unpreparedness, lack of or poor strategic direction. Usually
Resource
time.
limitation.
Yeah, time.
That'd be resources.
Right.
A lot of people just don't understand that there's a lot of technology behind communicating today, and or they really don't have an ROI model on what it costs them to get a lead. And so all of these things combined together kind of create a conundrum where we spend money on something and we really don't have a lot of depth of understanding of our content strategy. And that's often a disconnect from the sales executive, business owner, marketing person who has it all in their head. It's how do you get it out of your head? And what I found in doing podcasting over the last 3 years, that the creating content that's targeted at a very micro targeting level for B2B content, it remains the same. We're using different channels than we did 20 years ago, but we're not trying to get 1 million downloads. And that podcasting or views or clicks, and podcasting is actually a highly effective way to create content that comes out of your head and can be targeted at the right people to help you make your numbers this year. And we've created Publio Studio as a way to collect that thought leadership out of executives' heads and put it into a mass amount of content. And so this is what you're typically seeing now more and more. And as you scroll by people's profiles on LinkedIn and LinkedIn feeds in particular, where a lot of B2B business is done, as you all know, this is the kind of thing that you're seeing. And these are all interviews that we've done and created content from. And so in an omni-channel world, you need to be able to not only record the videos, but then turn it into white papers, turn it into case studies, turn it into LinkedIn posts or newsletters. LinkedIn has a highly effective tool called newsletters. And, how do you get out of your head and onto LinkedIn in a matter of a week? Well, come to the studio. So the recording of the content is really just the beginning. And the podcasting is just the model, because we've gotten used to consuming podcasts, and podcasts have gone to video. But what about connecting that podcast to your CRM? What about getting to know your audience members and not worry about 1 million people, but worry about the 5,000 people that are in your world? And to be able to communicate to them across channels. And so that's really where we see the opportunity lying. And at the beginning of the year, I got written up in MarTech for talking about the idea of video everywhere, and turning that video into so many different kinds of content, and using the podcast as the medium because it's quick and efficient. And so last year we set up Publio Studio, sort of building on what we've done in our own interviews, and joined again the HubSpot Solutions Partner Program. I had worked with HubSpot for several years at an agency where I developed all these ideas. And again, I have a methodology behind here, but what I've learned is nobody wants to buy the methodology. It's these outputs that if you come into the studio and can spend 2 hours of time and then walk away and see content come back to you, because it's out of your head. It's been recorded. As John alluded to, if you know how to ask the questions up front, you get the answers out. If you get the answers out, you can turn it into a whole program, so that the podcast becomes video shorts. You create long form content that it becomes an SEO tool. You can take that in post-production and turn it into a multilingual video that has all the translation behind it and uses AI to make the mouth move, and it looks like you're talking in the other language. This is very popular.
Keith, we have a couple of questions. I think one
Yes, sir.
was Zev had asked. I don't know if you could see your chat. He said, "What's the plan for distributing this content, and how will it get in front of the right people to drive desired action?" I think you addressed that.
That's exactly the point of this. Is the podcast ecosystem is our marketing and distribution for the content. So you come into the studio, we record the content, and then we turn it into the content for you based on having a marketing and distribution plan.
And when you say come into the studio, I assume that's virtual?
Virtual, yes.
Okay. And then John Parsons had a question.
Yeah, I started to interrupt, but I have to leave early. When we have long videos like this, it's a nightmare for our producers to find the chunkable content within that. So do you like because when we plan on stuff like this, we need to talk because this overlaps with some of the stuff we're trying to do.
Absolutely, John.
But question one is, when you script, is there any scripting at all involved so you can get those 30-second chunks of Rajiv, cut it out. It's like having a 30-second spot of content, and then they can elaborate and do the long talkathons based on that, but having it in a smaller piece from the beginning. And the second question is, when you do SEO, a lot of the platforms generate AI versions of what was said. They transcript it, and sometimes they make stupid mistakes. So do you take the SRT file and actually make sure that it's right?
I do. And so here's an example of something that's been run through the studio. So we started with an interview, and we've got now an SEO well-written piece of content, the video interlaced throughout it, making the key points.
Yeah.
The video is out on YouTube. As you said, the captions are edited, and so very quickly now we've built in a set of models to run the transcript through and output long form content, social media posts, titles, headers. Just this ends up showing up on LinkedIn. It creates dynamic links from YouTube back to this. I mean, it's an SEO a dream. The one thing I'll say to your comment about your producers, yes, I turn this into 50 or 60 pages of content, and that's one step in our process. So I had a CMO tell me, I've always spent tens of thousands of dollars on production because I don't have the resources to turn that video that we made into anything but a 40-minute post on our website with a transcript. And now we're able to show them, well, here's 5 possible topics that came out of your interview, and then we can generate those very quickly. I'm still a writer. I don't turn the AI loose on writing 100%, but I generate the research and I generate the drafts from it. And then for me, you see something like this come out of it.
Thanks. I do have to run, but thanks, Keith. Let's talk for sure.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Potential collaboration. Great, John. Thanks.
I'll reach out. All right. So, the bottom line is that all of the material downstream is now very easy to create relative to just a year ago, as ChatGPT and other programs. We use 3 different programs to create the content now in a workflow. And so I invite people to come in and get creative, right? You don't have to just be interviewed. I have a company right now where there's two partners that are interviewing each other, and we, in order to get them to sound natural, we toss out a question to them, and then they start to talk to each other in a conversation, and they're not doing presentations, even though the camera is looking right at them. Same thing with roundtables. They're a great way to get discussions going. But you can interview a customer. You can have a series. Remember, Will It Blend? You know, there was a kind of a goofy one, but you can be thematic about it and come up with a series. So you're not locked into one. I'm going to keep going here. I got a couple minutes. This is the methodology that I was selling. I still use it in the background, but I'm not trying to blog it. But the idea is you want to create a closed loop marketing. So when you publish content, you see how it fits in to your marketing. You can also use it in your sales. This is a standard approach to every sales lead. Well, let's use the content that we create at each step of the sales process. It tracks along nicely with HubSpot, and the idea actually for all of this came from me working with a HubSpot agency about 10 years ago and developing the onboarding for content. Does it work? Well, the goal is to give you feedback when you do publish content, that you've got information back so you can always be improving and maximize your impact. Here was a company that we turned on. We started a LinkedIn page for them, and the next meeting we met with them, we were able to say, here is what you got. Well, they had been posting for several years and never really had the data behind it from LinkedIn, Google's analytics, or their CRM. And now we're helping them put that together and understand what their publishing is getting them. All kinds of outcomes, bigger database, aligning sales and marketing, connecting with your customers, getting sales qualified leads. But the biggest one I've worked on was we actually saw an impact on a sale in an M&A deal when the client wanted to buy the blog, and they increased the price of the M&A deal. So there is a lot of value in content. This is the multilingual. I'm not going to go into. I got 11 seconds. I have a podcast I started last year called Smarketplace, and we talk about sales, marketing, and rock and roll. And we're always looking for guests. So let me know if you want to be a guest. I would love to talk to you. But that's what we've been doing in the last year. And Michael, I really appreciate the opportunity to come back and talk about it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing your expertise. Really helpful. As we all know, it's a challenge to generate content that highlights our expertise. So, Keith, can you hear, by the way, still on the okay, good. So let's I'm going to drop in the chat the remaining folks in the order in which they can go. So Rochelle, Melih, Collin, in that order, and take it from there. And let's do like, I guess, still 3 minutes. And if everybody else could go on mute except for the speaker, because I'm going to switch to or keep it on speaker mode. So Rochelle Lisner, you're up.
Okay, good evening. Rochelle from Dynamic Business Growth. And I always say it's dynamic business growth and not schlep along business growth. And I just find that companies have a very hard time describing what they do in a compelling, interesting, energized way. Very often they speak in jargon, they're long-winded, boring, and I tune off, and I'm sure that so many others do as well. So I always ask, when you talk about your business, how do you pull a rabbit out of your hat? I want to know, what is your high-level thinking? And when you talk about it, are you storytelling or boring telling? Can you tell me a story that just highlights that high-level thinking, that great win that you had, that based on that story, I can see what you do, and then you can really attract your ideal client. You become the clear and only choice. So again, when you think about your business, think about the story that you want to tell, that I can see your high level thinking, that, and so that you go from basically unclear and boring to unforgettable. And that's what I want to talk about today. And I'm going to give back 1 minute and 49 seconds.
Do you want to talk at all about your
Yes,
program?
I'm looking to get together a group. I'm getting a lot of leads from lawyers recently. So I'd love to do my next Ultimate Power Pitch program. I'd love to get a group of 5 attorneys from different practices. So if anybody has leads to attorneys that would be interested in doing this group, it would be great. It's a 6-week program. And I recently worked with an immigration attorney. And by the time I was done with him, he didn't even recognize himself. We had to reintroduce himself to him, because I sort of up-leveled the way he spoke about his business. So that would be something that I would appreciate.
Yeah, actually, there are a few legal networking groups you might want to look into. So you just do attorney networking groups on Google. There's at least one. It shows up, I think, in New York, a meetup. Those might be good places to find your potential partners.
Jennifer Gilman runs the attorney networking group as well on Monday evening. So maybe that's something Rochelle could look into.
Jennifer Goodman.
Gilman.
Gilman. All right,
Who's
good.
Jennifer Gilman?
You'll have to follow up with Rajiv on that one, but you
Okay.
can look her up. Gillman.
Gilman, I think.
Okay,
But
1 L.
yeah, but don't quote me on that. Yeah.
Okay. All right, definitely reach out to Rajiv. Cool.
Thank you.
Wonderful. All right. Next up would be, who did I have next? Melih Oztalay. Go for it.
Hey guys, Michael, thanks for inviting me today. It's my first meeting in your group. Glad to be part of it. Very quickly, I have a marketing agency. We're a 360 agency. 37 years old. It's an award-winning agency out of Detroit. Pretty much cover the gamut from creative to technical to marketing, writing. But having said that, and having listened to some of the folks here, we always look for resources that I've heard so far. And so we like to augment a lot of our client projects with new ideas and new methods of content development, content distribution. Certainly open to a lot of that. I have a team of 25. Our general approach is that we augment our large corporate clients with and their marketing teams. A lot of corporations have small marketing teams, 3-5 people. They just can't get around to doing everything. So that's where we come in and we support them and pretty much take care of everything. So the client tends to outsource that internet thing that they don't like to deal with. And so we deal with everything from websites to, I don't know, content development to, LinkedIn marketing, news media, public relations, press releases. We have an AI project where we can increase the number of leads a website generates by 200% in 4 months. I've got other programs that are designed to help with content development within a website, whatever that content is. And so either take the client's existing content and repurpose it, or create new content from scratch. And so it pretty much covers everything. We have a dashboard where we take all the metrics and measurements and dump them into one, data warehouse, and then use that big data to analyze and interpret all the information. Most of our clients are larger, 50, 100 employees or more. That's the short version.
Very cool. Maybe you want to think about doing a showcase on your AI program. That sounds really fascinating.
Yeah, that one's actually fun. I have some interesting case studies from that as well.
Would love to hear about it. All right.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much for joining us. Collin, is it Gaveck?
Yeah, Gaveck.
Gaveck. Take it away.
All right. Awesome. So I'm with Moonlight Promos. We handle actual physical product side of the marketing. So we do a variety of things. We do, for one, apparel, just your shirts, your hats, all that type of stuff that people wear for their companies. Then we do actual promotional products. So think more in the line of like tumblers, coffee mugs, pens, the things people want to give away either to their clients or to prospective clients at an event just to get their logo out there, stuff that people actually use. And then, I mean, that's kind of the generic promotional product side of it. And then we have the other side of the business, which at this point, I'd say about 85% of our clients are actually nonprofit organizations. Do a lot of sourcing work with them. They'll come to us with whatever it is their program is, whatever they're wanting to do. Like, for instance, we're working with one right now. They give away teddy bears to first responders, and they want their logo on it, so they need something branded, but they'd also just been going around to different websites buying teddy bears at retail prices. So we find the manufacturer, usually in China, sometimes not, negotiate a price, and then basically save them a whole bunch of money on whatever they're trying to do and stretch that a little farther. So that's kind of the flip side. And we can do it branded, we can do it unbranded. I mean, we're doing an order right now for hygiene products. We're getting them a bunch of unbranded toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, stuff like where you wouldn't necessarily want your logo on it. You just want cheap products. So I mean, those are kind of the two aspects of our business. It's all very concierge. Like, I have a website, people ask for it, but the reality is we sit with clients, figure out what their need is, and then see if we can go do it. Usually can, sometimes can't, but we'll give the answer either way.
What's the website
I
again?
don't think it's moonlightpromos.com.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
everybody
kind of,
should drop drop your contact information in the chat. That way I'll ask everybody to download the chat at the end or save the chat so that you have ways to contact people.
Absolutely.
All right.
I don't have anything
And
else,
where are you based, Gavin? Collin?
So I'm out of Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, that's right. You said Tennessee.
When Rajiv said it was marketing people, I'm like, you would be shocked the amount of people who are like, oh, well, you've made this tumbler for me. Can you do digital marketing?
I have a domain that you want to buy, Collin.
I love to meet other marketing people who I can refer my clients to, who I can trust.
Wonderful.
All right.
Absolutely. That's why we call it the Trusted Referral Network.
I've got a question for Collin.
Melih, go ahead. Sure, go ahead.
Collin, quick question. On the promotional product side, are you a supplier or distributor?
Distributor.
Distributor.
Did you hear me?
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, distributor.
Yep, I gotcha. And then the other question on the sourcing, have you considered any sourcing out of Brazil? Because I have a contact in New York who's into that.
I would be very interested in that.
Okay, I will put you guys together.
Awesome, thank you.
Wonderful. That's what it's all about. All right. Zev Gotkin from the outdoors. The great outdoors.
Okay. Yes, the great outdoors of Queens, the wilderness. Zev Gotkin, founder of ZEV Media. We're a boutique, full-service digital marketing agency. Although our main specialty is advertising, we basically help you take your content and all of your resources and help you get in front of the customers that you want to get in front of and drive the conversions, the outcomes that you desire. Usually it's signups, purchases, adds to cart, whatever it might be, in a very trackable, measurable way. And I think most importantly, in a way that you can actually see what's going on and it's transparent. We use a variety of third-party platforms that our clients are also shared on, so they can see the data in real time. They can enter in as they need. We use the dominant platforms of today, like Meta and Google, but we're pretty platform agnostic. We have campaigns that have been successful on platforms like Bing and LinkedIn and Pinterest and banner ads. We've gotten a lot of results, anywhere from 9 to 32 times returns on ad spends, which I'm very proud of. And even though we're really worked every kind of industry, anything that crosses my desk that I think has an identified target audience and goals, obviously we work with lawyers, mortgage brokerages, whatever, but hospitality is our main niche right now, getting people inquiries or bookings for private events, including corporate team builders, or booking reservations for parties for different things like travel, leisure, or like cooking classes or fun kind of things. So it's a lot of restaurant groups, caterers, and hotels. But we've really worked with pretty much every vertical you can think of. And it's really just about getting them the results in a way that they can see it. My background was in content writing and strategy. So we have a lot of the creative end, but we're also real data nerds. But we try to demystify that and help our clients really get under the hood and see exactly what's going on, understand the insights, so they don't feel like overwhelmed and like they don't really know what they're paying for, and they can make smarter decisions. So yeah, I'll drop all my info in the chat and really look forward to meeting with all of you and give you 30 seconds.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right. Let's move to Jason Ciment.
Hi. So I am a failed accountant and lawyer, and now I run a marketing agency for about 18 years. Before that, I actually ran an online business that Google was my client. They bought everything in our catalog. So I learned e-commerce, learned how to do SEO, and then bought out the software company that ran my website. So you'll see my signature. We have an e-commerce platform that competes with Shopify and Magento and stuff like that. And then in 2005, one of my first employees said, why don't we do this consulting thing and teach and help people with SEO? So we started an agency, worked at night. And then after about a year, we had enough clients and he quit his day job. And now we're up to 20 people. And we just do the whole gamut of building we branched out of e-commerce. So it's like service companies, B2B, healthcare, all that kind of stuff. So we build a website, get the traffic. As Zev was saying, figure out where the traffic is. So it might be search engines. It might be not search engines. It might be interrupting them with ads. It might be just doing outreach on LinkedIn. It just depends on each client. But the thing I want to talk about today is a new launch that we have. The website is called Network 10,000. And I can say this privately, but not publicly. So these two guys invented a technology that can automate all your LinkedIn outreach, like with AI and good templating and a system called Dream 100, which is you pick 100 people that you really want to get in front of. The only condition is they have to post fairly actively on LinkedIn. They will leave comments on their posts for 2 weeks. And then after 2 weeks, send a connection request to them. And they'll keep recycling that same process. So it's there's nothing like this that exists. It's brand new, and now because of the private group that we're in, I'm sharing it. And you can look at Network 10,000. And
how do you spell it? You want to put that in the chat?
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat. So Network 10,000, they're charging. There's going to be 2 layers. The first layer, it says straight $300 a month to do the Dream 100 program, and the second layer is where it gets insane. It will be leaving auto comments on other people's posts to boost their virality inside LinkedIn. So, I mean, the world's heading this way. It's going to be robots talking to robots, but at least this will be your robot working for you. So, and then we'll have Rajiv come in and annihilate all of it. So that's the situation. We have one new launch separate from that, which is already live. It's called Look Really Busy. So we're using press releases and some other AI generated content to make people look really active in their news and media section of their website. But the press releases get syndicated. It's very cheap. And by 6 months, people look at your website and you're like, shit, this dude's really busy. I got to hire him or her. So that's the idea. That's what I got, under 5.
Yes. Thank you so much. Always something interesting from Jason Ciment.
Yeah, well, the network,
all right.
It's crazy.
And Rajiv is complaining you look younger than you usually do. You're growing your hair. I think that's it.
I shaved. That's what my wife.
You shaved. That's what it is. Your wife told you you're going to shave to look a little younger. Julie Warnick, another guest.
Shaver.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me, Michael.
Of course.
I recently left corporate. I was in a big conglomerate company, a parent company and 7 subsidiaries, mostly in construction. And I headed up their marketing, communications, and creative department internally that the 7 subsidiaries came to. And so I'm going out on my own, fractional. My passion and expertise, I love corporate events, branding, theming, dressing the venue, hiring the talent, hiring the production company, thinking through the content, just the whole, of large corporate events or any size, but and so that's one of the services I offer, as well as kind of a brand doctor to kind of do a brand audit on companies and define and refine their brand identity, and to talk through like, what is their why? Is it clearly communicated? Is their visual identity match up with their written identity? And then what's their experience management? Like, what's the customer journey and also employee journey? Because your employees are your brand ambassadors, and are you living up to your brand promise and delivering on that? Or do you have that dissonance, kind of a feeling of, and you're not building employee and customer loyalty because of your brand, building up your brand equity. So I love the creative side of branding and marketing. And my background is actually in design. I love managing and working with creative teams. So that is what I'm trying to network and find companies who are looking for that type of services.
Very cool. And with deep expertise in construction. Go ahead. Got a question? Somebody?
I mean, more like a comment. So Julie, I recently met someone at like another networking event that does like events for high net worth individuals and family offices. So I think like potentially the two of you potentially may have a lot of like synergy and commonality, because again, I'm not clear as to exactly whether she does what you do, or may want to partner, or what the overlap is. But I think the two of you definitely should have a conversation. I mean, potentially it's something that you might want to like look into.
I would love an introduction if you'd make me one. Yes, like Michael said, I do have experience in the construction industry. So the last 8 years, I hadn't been in construction before, but I do know the ins and outs of that industry and kind of the vibe with employees and with customers and that type of brand identity. But I've also been in other industries as well. I also helped while I was there at Clyde Companies. They were honestly kind of more like a private equity company, and they would constantly do growth by organic growth, but growth by acquisition. So I went through like 15 acquisitions and sucked up these companies into the parent brand, or figured out which brand it's supposed to go with.
Good. That's another area of good pickings if going after PE companies, because they do these bolt-ons that need branding and pulling it all together. By the way, the color match between your sweater and the cabinet, perfect.
The background.
Yeah, you should use that as your own brand. Okay.
There you go.
I didn't miss anybody besides myself, right? So I will go. I'll put the timer on too. So my name is Michael Bendit, as you know. Besides running this networking group, I sell software development services. So I'm a one-man shop, but I represent about a dozen teams. They're all technically oriented development shops. I guess software development implies technically oriented. But the reason I say that is because we partner really well with other agencies, with ones that perhaps come from the creative space and don't have all the resources in-house to do the website development or the mobile development or the integration with different platforms. So just had a call today. It's actually the third call. We're going to be pitching with another marketing agency based in New Jersey that is pitching a not-for-profit that is, their website's on Drupal, which, if people know Drupal, it's a very heavy content management system, difficult to manage. Was a real darling about 10 years ago, but WordPress has outshined it. So we're likely to be switching them to WordPress. They're also on some old CRM solutions. So we're going to work on probably upgrading them to HubSpot and integrating with their HubSpot. They have some billing challenges and renewal challenges. When people who their clients retire, the people who are their main contacts, they often don't renew because of that, because only one person is really knowledgeable about the services they provide. So this is really a rev ops, if you will, opportunity where their revenue operations need to be upgraded. You might even call it sort of a mini digital transformation. So best leads for me is we love to partner with other agencies that don't always have the right resources, or they're constrained, right? They've got one programmer and they've got more programming to do than that one person can handle. or that one person knows WordPress or some platform, but they don't know Shopify or Drupal or Magento or mobile, and they don't want to lose the opportunity. So they need to partner. And my teams, I've selected my teams for their, position in the marketplace, their price competitiveness, their abilities or skills in the particular areas where they specialize. Since it's non-exclusive, I have the luxury of being able to work with teams that I know can deliver. So love to talk to anybody. I also recently signed on a really talented SEO team based in Eastern Europe that is very transparent and can do really amazing work, supplement the team that might already be doing SEO. So I'm going to stop there. I'll switch it to gallery mode. We have 5 minutes left. Any questions about either Keith's? Go ahead,
Michael?
Rajiv.
Yeah, so the transparent SEO team, about them, like, is it possible for an introduction to them?
Sure, absolutely. I will make. We could do we'll do a Zoom, and they'll show you how they work.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
also, Michael, quick question, as far as like the stuff that you do, I know that earlier you were doing like a lot of like 3D visualization and AR and all that sort of thing. So is that still like an ongoing?
I still have a team that does one team that does AR, VR, XR, and they're a dual shore team, US and Peru, and another team that does. They also can do some modeling, but I have another team that's based in Eastern Europe that does 3D modeling as well, and very cost effectively. We did a lot of furniture models based on drawings before the furniture was actually produced for a very high-end furniture manufacturer. So their model is they design it, they sell it, and then they make it, so that they're not producing for inventory.
Wow, that's amazing. So can this stuff be kind of like rendered for Web3?
Yeah, absolutely. Web3 is a very big bucket, but you
I know,
mean
I
like
mean like VR, basically, like VR and metaverse.
absolutely.
And
I would say the AR VR team, the AR VR team is probably better suited for that. The guys that do the modeling, it's very high quality, but they typically do stills. It's not typically interactive.
So, Michael, I potentially have like a introduction, in that area for you. Like, and this is somebody that came to TRN a while ago. Her name is Wendy Koo. So she's like really getting big into Web3, and her kind of like partner in crime, Mohammed something, I forget his last name, based out of Miami. So I think the two of them would be good collaborators for you on the Web3 side of things, because they're
Great.
like actually soliciting like a lot of business in that area.
Wonderful. Would love to talk to them, and we'll do a Zoom with my SEO team.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Wonderful. Thank you for hanging around. And I love the background picture of that's the castle in Central Park, right?
Central Park. Yeah. This was this weekend at a Memorial Day before the weather went like completely bonkers here in New York City. It was like nice, and that's what it looked like when it was nice.
Yeah, and then it poured. Yeah.
Oh yeah, then it got just crazy.
All right, we have just 2 more minutes. Now's a good time to save the chat. So if you open up the chat window and go to the top, there's these 3 dots. And if you click on those 3 dots, the first option is save chat. So I'd recommend folks, it'll save the chat in your Zoom folder under documents. And I think typically it'll be the date, unless gives me the name of the Zoom, but that's because I created it. I don't know if it'll show up the same for you. Thank you all for coming. You connect with one another. That's what it's all about. Melih, we should definitely talk about you doing a presentation. And Keith, you and I have to. Yep, and Keith, you and I have to talk about getting on your content thing as a barter. And Collin and Julie, if you want to come back or want to consider joining, we have a 3-month trial. Just reach out to me, and we'll get you going.
Hey, real quickly, Collin,
Yep.
where's your contact info?
Who are you asking?
Yeah, I'm asking Colin because I want to
Colin.
introduce him to.
It's somewhere in here. Let me just
Oh, there you are.
copy paste.
Yeah,
I got you,
Moonlight
got you, got
promos.
you, got you. All right, no problem. All right, I got it. Yeah.
Michael,
Wonderful.
I have
Yes.
another small complaint to air. I'm kind of like angry at Melih because he's got way more LinkedIn connections than me.
He's jealous. You
I've
want to
been
learn
at it
something.
since
I'm like
2005.
green with envy.
He's got a few years on you. Thank you all for coming. Have a wonderful evening,
Thank you.
afternoon, and
right,
let's
guys.
keep it going. Take care.
Talk to you later.
Yeah,
Bye bye.